pensa que sabe tudo sobre o astro do pop Michael Jackson? Fica ligado no Super Pop. Eu vou te mostrar um documentário especial e inédito no Brasil, que foi exibido pelo canal americano de TV E! Entertainment. Para começar, você vai saber tudo sobre a infância de Michael em Indiana e a criança prodigiosa que ele foi. Realmente é imperdível.
Quase toda a vida de Michael Jackson se desenrolou em público. Uma combinação de um enorme sucesso criativo misturado a um comportamento extremo e bizarro. A incrível história de sua vida começa em uma América muito diferente da atual.
There were places that blacks could not frequent. You could not go and swim at Marquette Park, which is in the Miller section of Gary. You could not go to certain restaurants.
Mas nas rádios, a música negra dominava.
Had taken a front position in the culture of of black people and of this nation, and so people were really into music.
The major radio station, WWCA, was the influence, the dominant influence in Gary from the late 50s through the 60s. They had many R&B stars, the Spaniels, Gladys Knight and the Pips.
No lar dos Jackson, a música era uma grande inspiração. Catherine e Joseph Jackson moravam numa pequena casa de 4 cômodos com seus 6 filhos: Rebe, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, LaToya e Marlon. Em 29 de agosto de 58, Michael nasceu. Catherine, uma devota testemunha de Jeová, cuidava dos filhos enquanto Joseph trabalhava numa usina de aço. Em 61, a família ganhou outra boca para alimentar, o bebê Randy.
My friend that worked with Joe Jackson told me Joe would come to work with no heels on his shoes, literally. Tears in his jacket and no lunch. Co-workers would share their lunches with him. That's how rough he had it.
Em casa, Joe Jackson tinha um plano para tirar sua família da pobreza e levá-los para longe de Gary, Indiana. Catherine ensinou música aos filhos. Joe, que tinha sua própria banda com amigos, enfeitava os filhos para o palco.
Joe Jackson was the true stage father. He controlled what they did, what they dressed, how they dressed, what they sang, the rehearsal schedule. And his dream and his hope was always to see that group, his family, take off. And he would do anything that he could to further that ambition.
Ninguém gostava mais de se apresentar do que Michael. Aos 5 anos, ele já queria ser a estrela do show.
The kindergarten teacher came to me and said, "You know, I have a little boy in the class who is just insisting that he sing the Christmas song to his class." He was insisting that that whole show revolved around him.
Joe conseguiu colocar os filhos no show de talentos da região.
Joe was right out there in front, and he was pushing his children, and he had them perform wherever anyone would let them.
Michael was such a handsome little kid, had so much personality, and so he was, and he had such a tremendous voice that I think that every young lady from any age, maybe 5 on up, was in love with him, you know, not in a sexual sense, but loved him.
Em 66, Joe e Catherine deram as boas-vindas à sua terceira filha e 9ª criança, Janet. Naquele mesmo ano, os garotos Jackson se apresentaram em boates e até bares de striptease. Um agente de talentos local sugeriu o nome de Jackson 5 e pegou.
When they were out on these night programs, nightclubs and so forth and so on, they never discussed it with anyone. They were very close.
Os meninos adoravam a mãe. Tentavam protegê-la da realidade da vida longe de casa.
On the road, they were playing strip clubs. And they were seeing Joseph being flirtatious with women and perhaps having affairs with women. Then they would come home to their mother, who was a Jehovah's Witness, and they were being taught other values. And for these kids, especially Michael, to keep those kinds of secrets from their beloved mother was very, very emotionally damaging, I think.
Para o pai, o grupo Jackson 5 era uma maneira de sair de Gary e alcançar fama. Joe ensaiava os meninos o tempo todo. Os mais velhos aguentavam, mas o pequeno Michael era frágil e sensível.
Joseph used to single Michael out, and he would say things like, do it like Michael. He would tell the brothers, especially Marlon, who was having a hard time, you need to do this like Michael, you need to be like Michael. And this put a lot of pressure on Michael. That, compounded by the fact that when Michael didn't do it right, he would be whooped by Joseph.
Joseph Jackson negava que batia nos filhos. Só no fim dos anos 70 é que Michael começou a contar aos amigos, como a atriz Jane Fonda, sua versão sobre o que acontecia.
It was very traumatic living in his household. They were terrified of the father. When they would hear him coming home, they would all run to their rooms and lock the door. Michael's like a harp string. He is so sensitive and vulnerable. Every breath of wind that hits him reverberates in sensitivity.
Babies are born with a temperament and a feeling of being more or less sensitive to some degree, but largely it has to do with how much pain you experience yourself and how early you experience it.
No outono de 67, os Jackson assinaram contrato com a Steeltown Records. Lançaram seu primeiro compacto, Big Boy, 2 meses depois. Big Boy tornou-se um sucesso. A música ajudou os Jackson a se apresentarem no famoso Teatro Apollo no Harlem.
It was a rite of passage in many ways to appear at the Apollo Theater. And it was also a little bit intimidating because the audiences there would boo you if you weren't good.
Os Jackson não eram bons, eram ótimos. E Michael, com 10 anos, roubou o show.
The Apollo was a huge turning point for the Jackson 5. After the Apollo, there was a new sense of enthusiasm and encouragement in the family.
Não demorou para os Jackson deixarem a Steeltown.
Joe Jackson would also seek out and always be seeking out other labels and other opportunities, irregardless of his relationship with Steeltown. He was not going to stay in Gary. There was no question about it.
No final de 67, os Jackson 5 tiveram outra grande chance no Teatro Regal, em Chicago. Dessa vez, eles abriram para o famoso astro da Motown, Bob Taylor e os Vancouvers.
When the stage left and there was Michael doing the James Brown song, I got the feeling, I think that's what he was doing. Hey, I got the feeling. Yeah. I said, dang, what is that? I would say he must be reincarnated. I said, I mean, he looks like a little baby James Brown.
Taylor reconhecia um talento bruto quando o via. Ele se ofereceu para ajudar Michael a se tornar um astro.
After that, Michael stayed with me, didn't go away from me, except to go to the restroom, I guess, or to go on stage for the next 10 days. I saw genius in Michael. And I saw somebody that I could work with in the rest of the group. It's as simple as that.
Uma criança tão talentosa como Michael Jackson só poderia mesmo se tornar uma lenda, não é? Agora vocês vão ver como a carreira artística do pequeno Michael começou. A contratação pela gravadora Motown, o apoio da cantora Diana Ross e também toda a rigorosidade de Joe Jackson, pai de Michael Jackson. Vamos assistir.
Em 68, Michael Jackson, de 10 anos, já era um artista conhecido quando chamou a atenção do artista da Motown, Bob Taylor. Taylor filmou um teste dos Jackson 5 e convenceu o dono da Motown Records, Berry Gordy, a dar uma olhada.
It was 4 a.m. Detroit time. Berry called me. He says, go there and get them signed in the morning. He said, no, don't worry about anything. Just get them signed.
Motown and the Jackson 5 were a marriage made in heaven. The company was black, the act was black. They knew what they wanted. They knew they wanted a young act that could cross boundaries. Motown was known for its crossover records, and this was the ultimate crossover act.
Gordy queria tornar os Jackson 5 dos grupos mais conhecidos de sua época.
From a very early age, Michael Jackson was encouraged by Motown's press department and by the Motown machinery to do things such as lie about his age. One of the things that came as a result of it was Michael beginning to believe that you can sort of create an image for yourself and you sort of manipulate people to think what they want to think.
Gordy era ainda mais controlador que o próprio pai dos meninos, Joe Jackson.
First thing they said was, okay, you got to sign these 5 contracts. Power of attorney, recording, management, writers, publishing. They taught you how to dance, how to speak, how to talk.
Gordy não quis se arriscar quando resolveu lançar seu novo grupo.
Berry Gordy had this amazing idea that he would attach the biggest star that they had at the company to the discovery of the Jackson 5. That, of course, was Diana Ross. And he sat down with Diana and he said, look, we found these kids and we're going to use your name and we're going to say that you discovered them.
Em agosto de 69, Gordy fez Michael, na época com 11 anos, mudar-se para a mansão de Diana Ross em Beverly Hills. Joe e os outros irmãos ficaram em hotéis baratos, enquanto o resto da família permanecia em Gary.
And he used to study Diana and how she would walk in and out of the room, and you really got the feeling that he was, wanting to be like her, and he began to talk like her, and he began to walk like her.
Os Jackson passavam cada minuto acordado no estúdio com o produtor Bobby Taylor.
I worked those kids very hard. They enjoyed it. They loved it. And especially Michael. That was the only place that Michael could express himself.
Em novembro de 1969, Berry Gordy alugou uma casa em Hollywood para toda a família Jackson.
Even though Michael had a great time with Diana Ross, in his view, there's nothing like family. And to be able to be reunited with his mother and his brothers and even his father, was something he was really looking forward to.
O novo lar dos Jackson era muito diferente da antiga casa em Gary, Indiana.
The boys loved it. When they got into the shower, there was 6 shower heads. They'd never seen anything like that. I said, man, you could go swimming in here, Bobby, man. If you saw the poverty that they came from, then you would understand why Los Angeles was huge to them.
Diana Ross was hosting parties, and they were attending and performing, and, they were meeting all of their icons, and Stevie Wonder and Martha Reeves, and all these people were sort of, mingling with them. And
em outubro de 1969, a Motown lançou o primeiro single dos Jackson 5, I Want You Back. O disco vendeu 2 milhões de cópias em apenas 6 semanas. Mais 2 sucessos foram lançados no verão de 70, ABC e The Love You Save.
And the mania was immediate, and it was international. The kids could relate to these guys, and the older people could relate to the showmanship and the savvy and the songs that they sang.
Em outubro daquele ano, os Jackson 5 começaram sua primeira turnê nacional. Na viagem, os irmãos de Michael se soltaram.
These girls, I remember throwing themselves at the boys, and they were like little hussies. I remember little mini skirts and, and the afros. The boys, would have, sexual encounters with these girls.
Era mais do que Michael, com 12 anos, podia aguentar.
And they were all sharing rooms, and Michael would be listening to this. This was horrible, probably, for a little kid as fragile and sensitive as Michael. He would talk to them and say, you're not going to have sex with my brothers, are you?
Joe fingia não ver nada, enquanto Michael mantinha em segredo as conquistas dos irmãos e não contava para a mãe religiosa e devota.
The image of this family being a cohesive and loving unit, sort of the Black Brady Bunch, was very important to everybody. But the reality was that when they went home at night, Joseph was cheating on Catherine, and the girls were really resentful of Joseph because of what he was doing to their mother.
Apesar da infidelidade de Joseph, Catherine decidiu tolerar tudo. A família comprou uma propriedade em Encino, Califórnia. O ano era 71.
They used to have press junkets up there. If you got invited to the Jacksons Encino compound, you're going to have a good time. You're going to be playing basketball with brothers if you can play. And, you're going to be hanging out with Janet, and Latoya was going to be there, and Michael was going to be laughing, and it was going to be fun.
O proprietário da Motown Records, Berry Gordy, tinha grandes planos para Michael, e eles não incluíam o restante do grupo. Em fevereiro de 72, o selo lançou o primeiro solo de Michael, Got to Be There. Joe não estava contente.
This was the way Motown did it. They looked at all their acts, and were always looking to see who they could make a solo act out of. They did it with the Supremes, they did it with the Temptations. And this was the inherent problem that Joe immediately had with Motown. They were trying to, in his idea, break up the family somehow.
Em 73, Catherine havia se cansado das traições de Joe. Em março, ela pediu o divórcio, mas Joe se recusava a sair de casa. Catherine acabou retirando o pedido.
Catherine had a lot of kids, and she had a lot of sort of responsibilities. And she wasn't the kind of woman who was going to just abandon all of that because she wasn't happy in her marriage.
Quando se fala no cantor Michael Jackson, raramente as pessoas tentam compreender o que o ser humano Michael sentia. Ele cresceu complexado com a própria aparência, sempre ouvindo os irmãos tirarem sarro do tamanho do seu nariz e do problema que tinha com as espinhas no rosto. Você vai ver agora o lado humano do rei do pop e o início da grande escalada para o sucesso mundial.
No início de 75, Michael Jackson, aos 16 anos, era um grande astro, mas ele não se sentia assim. Michael era extremamente tímido. Não ajudava o fato de estar crescendo diante de milhares de fãs. Como muitos adolescentes, Michael sofreu com as espinhas.
Well, Michael constantly says that he felt that he was not attractive. And I think the acne, doubled that feeling. I know that he did have medicine and everything from the doctor, but a lot of times that just, doesn't automatically go away.
Michael também ouvia boatos sobre sua sexualidade.
You got a feeling from Michael when he was a teenager that there was no sexual energy at all.
When Soul Magazine dispatched me out to the house one day, they said specifically, we need to know about these rumors that Michael Jackson is gay or bi or something like that. And so I said, listen, Mike, I got to ask you something. Are you gay? He looked at me for a minute, and he looked at my tape recorder, and he said, could you turn that off? And I turned it off, and he said, no, man, I'm not gay. But I know that we have many gay fans, and I just don't want to have my voice on tape saying that I am not gay.
Os boatos não impediram que as fãs tentassem seduzir Michael.
He told me stories about when he was, quite a young teenager, and girls would come up to him and throw themselves at him and lift their skirts up, and it terrified him.
Enquanto Michael lutava na vida pessoal, os Jackson 5 lutavam na vida profissional. Nos anos 70, o grupo saiu do topo das paradas.
The records were not being hits. There was a lot of acrimony.
Joe Jackson trabalhava duro para que seus filhos voltassem ao primeiro lugar.
Joe Jackson approached Berry Gordy about having his kids be able to write and perform some of their songs in the studio, and Berry Gordy was emphatic about it. He said, no way. I mean, I have writers and producers here. You guys are entertainers.
Em 75, Joe se uniu à Epic Records, uma divisão da CBS. A gravadora prometeu aos Jackson 5 mais de $1 milhão de adiantamento, 10 vezes mais os direitos que a Motown pagava.
He wanted his sons to make as much money as they could and have as much of a future in the music business as they could.
Mas havia problema. Os Jackson 5 ainda tinham 1 ano de contrato com a Motown. Joe se recusava a fazer mais discos para a gravadora de Berry Gordy.
There was a huge lawsuit filed against the family by Motown because Motown basically felt that Joseph had broken its contract.
O processo levou a acordo por valor não revelado.
And they did something else. They signed off on not being able to use the Jackson 5 name or logo ever again.
Em junho de 76, os Jackson 5 se tornaram os Jackson e os irmãos gravaram o primeiro álbum para a CBS. As vendas foram decepcionantes. Ainda assim, o álbum trazia a primeira música composta por Michael, Blues Away. A letra falava em superar a depressão. No início de 77, Michael, com 18 anos, parecia sair de sua concha. Começou a namorar a vencedora do Oscar de 13 anos, Tatum O'Neal.
She was a child performer who had a very difficult relationship with her father, Ryan, and Michael, of course, was a child performer who had a difficult relationship with his father, Joseph.
Mas as semelhanças acabavam aí. Michael, tímido, mantinha um relacionamento totalmente platônico.
Today, Michael thinks of Tatum as being his first girlfriend, but I think she pretty much disagrees with that, because really it was mostly puppy love.
Pouco depois de Michael conhecer O'Neill, sua amiga Diana Ross foi escolhida para fazer o papel de Dorothy num filme chamado The Wiz, um musical negro de O Mágico de Oz. Diana ajudou Michael a conseguir o papel de espantalho.
This was a huge step in his solo career, and it gave him the encouragement to know that maybe he can stand alone.
A produção de The Wiz começou na cidade de Nova York em julho de 77. Michael e sua irmã de 21 anos, LaToya, dividiram um apartamento em Manhattan. Michael usufruía da recém-descoberta liberdade.
He wanted to act, he wanted to dance, but mostly he wanted to get out of the house.
No set, Michael logo fez amizade com o diretor musical do filme, Quincy Jones. The Wiz foi lançado no final de 78, mas o filme foi um fracasso de bilheteria. O cantor esqueceu seu sonho de atuar e voltou para a estrada com os irmãos. A turnê não foi bem sucedida. Uma laringite forçou Michael a dublar durante algumas apresentações. Enquanto dançava em um show no começo de 79, Michael tropeçou e quebrou o nariz.
He had to have some surgery done to it in order to repair the break, and in the process of that, the nose was made a little bit slimmer, and it was completely an accident that any of this had occurred.
Para Michael, a carreira na estrada com os irmãos não bastava. Ele decidiu cantar sozinho.
On one hand, Michael felt very much a part of the family, very much a part of the group. On the other hand, Michael has always wanted to do things on his own. There was always a little bit of guilt.
Michael precisava de um produtor que o ajudasse a desenvolver um som único.
Quincy Jones loves to tell the story of how Michael came to him one day and said, "Listen, I'm going to be working on a solo record for Epic, and I'm looking for some producers to interview about this, and I was just wondering, would you have any suggestions on who I should, get with?" And Quincy said, "Hey, man, how about me?"
Quincy was an amazing person who sort of took Michael under his wing and was kind of the father figure that Michael needed at that time.
Michael e Quincy sabiam que estavam apostando alto.
It is perhaps one of the most difficult things to do in the music industry, to shed a teen pop image and then transition into a serious adult musician with credibility.
Under the tutelage of Quincy, Michael was able to do his thing, was able to be free with his writing and his production, and then he would take these things to Quincy, and Quincy would put his polish on it.
O álbum Off the Wall foi lançado em setembro de 79. O disco ficou em terceiro lugar e tinha 4 músicas de sucesso. Jackson se tornou o primeiro artista solo a conseguir alcançar esse tipo de sucesso.
Off the Wall was a classic record because it was the picture of a person artistically and creatively starving, hungry, eager to make a statement.
He was no longer associated as a child star fronting his brothers. This was Michael Jackson, a musician, a performer, and an adult in his own right.
Em 80, Michael ganhou um Grammy pela música Don't Stop Till We Get Enough. Mas ficou decepcionado porque Off the Wall não ganhou como o melhor álbum do ano. Jackson resolveu superar o próprio sucesso.
There is a legendary story that CBS had no idea that they could top Off the Wall. And when Michael Jackson said that he wanted to top that, they just sort of said, okay, kid, I mean, whatever you say.
Em sua vida pessoal, o astro pop de 22 anos sofria. Michael parecia incapaz de se envolver com garotas de sua idade. Ao invés disso, Jackson preferia a amizade de mulheres mais maduras, como Diana Ross e Jane Fonda. Um dia, Jane levou a Michael a ideia de um filme.
I said to him, Michael, I want to produce Peter Pan with you. And he started to cry. I mean, it was like, oh, Jane, do you know what you just said? I mean, he got all excited. I had no idea that Peter Pan was an obsession of him. I remember his emotions and his excitement when he talked about Snow White and Disney and Peter Pan and the make-believe world, Never Never Land. And in a way, that sanitized, romanticized, made-for-children, safe environment that is Disneyland was his reality.
Nesse vídeo caseiro, feito na propriedade dos Jackson em Ensino, Michael fantasiava ser seu alter ego.
Because Michael was robbed of his childhood, because of his having been made to be a star and essentially exploited by the family, he didn't have a childhood.
Na gravação, Jackson também mostrava uma outra paixão.
My llama Louie, and they're from the breed of the alpaca, as well as the camel. Louie, he was in the circus. I bought him from a lady who was a circus performer. And what he would do, he would give kids rides, 60 pounds or under, and that's what he would do all day, and do tricks.
Sem dúvida, os anos 80 foram o auge do rei do pop. Se existe um único nome para resumir a década, esse nome é Michael Jackson. Billie Jean, Thriller, a famosa dança do Moonwalk e tantos outros trabalhos encabeçados pelo astro são a expressão cultural dessa década. Mas em 1984, Michael deu um susto nos fãs. Enquanto ele gravava um comercial para uma marca de bebidas, uma explosão no estúdio deixou seu cabelo em chamas. O acidente você assiste agora em mais uma parte do documentário sobre a vida do rei do pop.
Em 82, ninguém imaginava que Michael Jackson, de 24 anos, poderia superar o sucesso de seu primeiro álbum solo, Off the Wall. Mas Michael estava louco para mostrar que estavam enganados. A Epic Records lançou o álbum de Michael Jackson, Thriller, em dezembro daquele ano.
Thriller was a record that just took everybody by surprise.
O público enlouqueceu com o álbum. Em menos de um mês, Thriller ganhou o disco de ouro e depois o de platina. Em fevereiro de 83, o single de Jackson, Billie Jean, tornou-se a música mais popular do país e de todo o mundo.
Throughout Michael's youth, there were always Billie Jeans. Basically women who would write him letters, and there was one in particular who was writing to him and telling him that she was going to kill herself and that he was the father of her child, and Michael was just horrified by all this.
A ode de Michael a Billie Jean era apenas o começo.
There were 9 songs on that album. Each one could have been a top 10 hit on its own. 7 of them did become top 10 hits. And the videos created for those songs were groundbreaking.
O mais famoso vídeo de Michael, Thriller, prestava uma homenagem aos filmes de horror que ele amava, como O Lobisomem e A Noite dos Mortos-Vivos. Mas o vídeo não combinava com a religião dos Jackson, que proíbe seus membros de acreditarem no sobrenatural.
Michael was contacted by Jehovah's Witness officials who said, wait a second, you can't do this. And we're going to kick you out of the religion if this comes out.
Jackson tentou cancelar o lançamento de Thriller, mas a gravadora não quis descartar o filme caro de 20 minutos.
Michael's attorney said, listen, there was part of just having fun. I think that we could put something at the beginning of Thriller, a disclaimer that will say, I don't believe in the occult. And Michael accepted that.
Jackson sabia quando ceder e quando pegar pesado. Naquela primavera, o dono da Motown, Berry Gordy, pediu a Jackson que se apresentasse com os irmãos no especial de 25 anos da gravadora. Jackson disse que faria com uma condição.
In order to get Michael Jackson to get on stage with his brothers and do a Motown medley, he had to agree to allow Michael to do Billie Jean.
When this man broke into Billie Jean, it was absolute pandemonium. People were coming out of their clothes, wigs were going crooked, people were standing on the tables.
And it was the first time we saw the moonwalk, and it was the first time the hat got thrown out, and it was the first time that we saw all of the components of what Michael had been working on to turn himself into sort of this amazing Sinatra, Gene Kelly, Michael Jackson kind of character. Michael Jackson claimed his place in pop history as the king of pop with his performance of Billie Jean on Motown 25.
Enquanto isso, Thriller vendeu 51 milhões de cópias e tornou-se o álbum mais vendido de todos os tempos. E então, em junho de 83, Michael fez sua última declaração de independência. O rei do pop de 24 anos demitiu seu pai.
Joe Jackson had taken Michael as far as Michael thought he could be taken by Joe, and he needed stronger management and a different vision. Plus, he needed to get away from Joe Jackson.
A decisão deixou Joe arrasado.
Joe was looking out for the boys, and some of his decisions were decisions that served Michael very well in the end. Had he not gotten the boys away from Motown, they would not have had the opportunity to develop as songwriters and producers.
Mas Michael parecia incapaz de cortar relações com os Jackson. Em setembro, sua mãe implorou a Michael que se reunisse aos irmãos para uma nova turnê chamada de Victory.
His mother appealed to him, you know, your brothers need to work and they really want you to do this and your father wants you to do it and you love your brothers, don't you?
Michael concordou em fazer a turnê. Também assinou o contrato para fazer 2 comerciais para o patrocinador da turnê. O contrato totalizou um valor recorde de 5 milhões. Mas algo saiu errado enquanto gravava o comercial. A pirotecnia defeituosa explodiu.
To prove that anything that starts out bad is going to end up bad, Michael got involved in this sort of explosive incident where his hair caught on fire.
Michael sofreu queimaduras de 3º grau. Enquanto os paramédicos o levavam para o pronto-socorro, o artista ainda se preocupava com o show.
He made sure he had glove and everything, you know, in place while he was waving goodbye to people from the stretcher with the bandage around his head. And it was all real dramatic.
Em fevereiro de 84, Michael, de 25 anos, se recuperou o suficiente e foi ao Grammy. Thriller roubou a cena quebrando o recorde e ganhando 8 prêmios.
I remember at some point backstage seeing Michael cradle all of these Grammys, and it was just a magical moment. I mean, everyone there, from the cameramen to support crew and the other artists, everyone involved knew that this was something special.
A acompanhante de Jackson era Brooke Shields, de 19 anos. Mas Michael também trouxe um outro acompanhante, Emmanuel Lewis, de 12 anos, astro de TV.
I guess because Emmanuel Lewis was really the date that night. Well, I think that Brooke just constantly wanted Michael's attention all to herself. From what I've been told by sources, as I say, were there and watched it all.
Jackson conheceu Lewis no set de Thriller e presenteou sua família com artigos luxuosos. Michael também tinha outros amigos jovens, inclusive Sean Lennon e o ator Corey Feldman. Feldman deu a Jackson seu número de telefone no set de Os Goonies.
Like around 11 o'clock at night, he called me, and we spoke for about 2 hours on the phone. And I was just so happy, you know. This guy actually called me, we actually spoke, and you know, he invited me to his house and he wrote my phone number in his little book and, you know, we were friends. It was official.
Corey ficou maravilhado por se tornar amigo de Michael.
But for the next several years of my life, I just became all-encompassed in this man. It was like the power he had over me was unexplainable. I wanted to act like him. I wanted to talk like him. I wanted to dance and sing like him. I wanted to breathe like him. And I'd never experienced that, ever, in any part of my life. So of course I was swept off my feet. Of course I was awestruck. You know, it was love. It was magic.
Mas a magia não durou para sempre.
Most children in his life, he kind of grew distant as I got older.
Muitos anos se passaram até que os caminhos de Corey e Michael voltassem a se cruzar. Enquanto isso, Michael saía com seus jovens amigos e se preparava para a turnê Victory.
These guys had to get it together, and they had to get it together fast. Michael hadn't performed or rehearsed and all that stuff with his brothers for years. And there was some animosity behind the scenes.
Apesar de toda a tecnologia, a turnê Victory foi um fracasso.
They went into a lot of stadiums that kept audiences from really appreciating the performance and the music. And they didn't perform a lot of the new music. They just stayed with basically an old show that they had done as the Jacksons.
A turnê Victory foi uma derrota para os Jackson, mas para Michael, ela significou sua libertação. O rei do pop tinha coisas melhores para fazer.
Impossível não se interessar pela vida do Michael Jackson, não é? Parece que ele estava predestinado não apenas para o sucesso, mas também para viver uma história única, cheia de controvérsia e excentricidade.
Em março de 85, o Museu de Cera de Madame Tussauds, em Londres, homenageou Michael Jackson com uma réplica em tamanho real. Ele reinava absoluto como o rei do pop. Jackson também ganhava uma reputação muito estranha. O National Enquirer publicou uma foto de Michael aparentemente dormindo em uma câmara de oxigênio. Jackson logo se tornou o alvo principal dos tabloides, mas os jornais não relatavam o ângulo mais bizarro de todos.
My understanding is that story was set up by his manager at the time. Michael was interested in being in the Enquirer because his good friend Elizabeth Taylor was appearing in the Enquirer all the time.
O jornalista Michael Glenn falou com o porta-voz de Jackson algumas vezes enquanto escrevia sobre o astro.
He said, yeah, I'd like you to come see me. Michael would like us to talk about some various things that he's interested in having in the Enquirer. One of them was certainly Michael's interest in buying the bones of the Elephant Man, somebody who people would look at and stare at and talk about and pay to see, but he was also a freak who was very lonely.
A história de Glenn sobre Jackson e o Homem-Elefante expôs o lado mais bizarro de Michael. A imprensa começou a chamá-lo de Jack o Maluco.
Michael Jackson would hit the airwaves and say, "Isn't that stupid? Well, where do you think the newspaper got the picture? From your PR people."
Much of what he does is cynically designed to affect our opinion of him. But unfortunately, he's so narcissistic that he has a tin ear for those things that will scandalize us when we hear them.
What disturbs me is when some of the journalists and the media people call him these names. Freak, wacko, jackal, all this kind of stuff. I mean, come on. They should lay off, really. He's a good guy, and he's my brother.
Excêntricos como Greta Garbo, P.T. Barnum e Howard Hughes também fascinavam Jackson. Ele copiou a paranoia de um livro sobre Hughes ao usar máscara cirúrgica em público.
A British journalist told me that they were out and Michael puts on a mask just as they're about to go out to meet, this throng of reporters. And the guy says to Michael, "Why are you putting on the mask?" And Michael winks at him and says, "Just to give him the old razzle-dazzle."
Mas talvez esse não fosse o único motivo de Michael para esconder o seu rosto. Por trás da máscara cirúrgica, a pele de Michael estava sofrendo uma estranha transformação. Os fãs ficaram chocados ao descobrir que o superastro negro parecia estar se tornando branco.
The African American community in general was concerned about what was going on with Michael.
Nobody wants to think of, an artist, especially an artist that had such a huge black following, kind of denying his heritage.
But he's still our man. He's still Michael Jackson. He's still an incredible entertainer. And he's still black.
Em setembro de 87, o terceiro álbum solo de Michael, Bad, chegou às lojas. O álbum ficou em primeiro lugar por 6 semanas e bateu o incrível recorde com 5 singles no topo das paradas. Mesmo assim, Bad vendeu cerca de 18 milhões de cópias a menos que Thriller.
I don't know if Michael Jackson could have produced anything, let alone Bad, that would have met both the artistic and the commercial expectations set by Thriller.
Jackson resolveu que iria alavancar Bad. Pela primeira vez em sua vida, Michael lançou uma turnê solo.
I think that was the way he felt like he could reclaim the glory of Thriller, was to get out on the road again. And those were strong shows.
Mas os fãs não se interessavam apenas pela música de Jackson. O lado bizarro de Michael também atraía. Alguns jornalistas diziam que Michael era viciado em plásticas. Contudo, na entrevista de 2003, Jackson admitiu ter feito apenas 2 cirurgias plásticas.
Knows why somebody changes their face. Who are we to judge? We can't know what goes on inside him, what he's trying to escape and who he's trying to become.
Em março de 1988, Jackson gastou 17 milhões de dólares em um rancho no sul da Califórnia. Jackson deu ao rancho o nome de Neverland, em homenagem ao seu livro favorito, Peter Pan. Na história, a Terra do Nunca é o lar dos meninos perdidos, meninos que não crescem.
It's kind of like his own private Disneyland, in a sense. It's not just what's there, the rides, the zoo, all the animals, the arcade games, the candy, but it's the spirit of the place. It's the magic.
He owns all the high ground. You don't even look down on his place. The only way you can see his place, if you're not invited, is fly over in an airplane. He's got his own security department. He's got his own fire department. He's got his own water company. He's got his own landfill. You don't even go through his trash. He don't put his trash out.
Michael encerrou a turnê de Bad em 27 de janeiro de 89 em Los Angeles. Jackson ainda tinha o dom.
Well, the Bad Tour was the most successful tour in history up until that point. I mean, Michael was making like $1 million a show at that time. This thing went on for 17 months, and he ended up playing for millions and millions of people.
Mesmo assim, Michael anunciou que não faria mais shows.
This probably shocked people because we knew him as this incredible entertainer. But Michael has always said, no one realizes what goes on when I'm up on stage. I mean, he probably loses about 5 pounds a night every time he goes on stage.
Contudo, Jackson não aposentou suas luvas completamente. A Sony comprou a CBS Records e sua divisão da Epic. Em março de 91, os executivos assinaram um contrato sem precedentes com Michael para lançar 6 álbuns no período de 15 anos. O acordo multimilionário incluía projetos de filme e TV e ganhou as manchetes internacionais.
It was the biggest deal of its type, of its kind at the time.
The truth is that over a period of years, if everything worked out well and every album sold a huge amount of records, that it could possibly end up being worth $1 billion.
Mas os sucessos profissionais de Michael foram ofuscados por suas escolhas pessoais. Em junho, Michael apareceu em público com o ator de 10 anos Macaulay Culkin. Os dois passaram férias juntos nas Bermudas e na Disneylândia. A festa de aniversário de Culkin foi em Neverland.
Macaulay Culkin had all these problems at home. You know, his parents were never married. His father was a strict disciplinarian, you know, just dragging him from one audition to the other. And so the two of them connected.
Culkin era apenas um dos meninos que Jackson recebia em Neverland.
The inner city kids and Make-A-Wish Foundation that came out on Saturdays in the bus. Boy, those kids just really had a ball. They were so happy. I mean, you could just see it in their faces.
Mas os 20 anos de experiência de Wagner o deixaram em alerta.
Brought my attention to the number of times children were staying in Michael's bedroom. And it was starting to bother me at first. I said, well, maybe it's poor judgment. Maybe that's just it. No. But it continues.
The children at Neverland Ranch are supervised on a 24-hour-a-day basis. He sleeps on the floor, and that's the way it's been, and that's the way it continues.
Enquanto isso, o último álbum de Michael, Dangerous, criou um alvoroço em novembro de 91.
Around the world, you had pictures of people waiting outside record stores, waiting to get their hands on this record. People in Manila, people in Australia, people in England, people in Paris.
O álbum ficou em primeiro lugar nas paradas, assim como o single Black or White. Mas Dangerous ainda não tinha feito o mesmo sucesso de Thriller, um retrocesso para Jackson e para a Sony.
Em 1992, o mundo se surpreendeu com uma declaração de Michael Jackson. Ele dizia estar com vitiligo, uma doença de pele, e isso justificava a transformação que todos já notavam no cantor. Sua pele estava cada vez mais branca. Mas essa não foi a única má notícia envolvendo o rei do pop. Em 21 de agosto de 92, a polícia abriu um inquérito para investigar a acusação de que Michael Jackson molestava crianças em sua própria casa. Os detalhes sobre a luta do cantor com a justiça você assiste agora.
Em 92, Michael Jackson, de 34 anos, precisava aumentar sua venda de discos. Em junho daquele ano, Michael quebrou a promessa de não fazer mais turnês. Ele embarcou na turnê mundial Dangerous. Jackson lotou estádios da Alemanha ao Japão. Em fevereiro de 93, Jackson interrompeu sua turnê para uma entrevista ao vivo em horário nobre, com Oprah Winfrey, sua primeira entrevista de TV em 14 anos. Michael disse a Oprah que não dormia numa câmara de oxigênio, que sofrera maus tratos na infância e que lutava com uma doença de pele chamada vitiligo.
Vitiligo is a skin condition characterized by patches of hypopigmentation, that is, patches of skin which do not carry normal or, in essence, any pigmentation. Generally, the condition presents as patches, not as large uniform areas.
100 milhões de espectadores ao redor do mundo assistiram à transmissão via satélite. As vendas do álbum Dangerous aumentaram e Jackson retomou a turnê. Mas ele não poderia reverter o terrível escândalo que surgiria na Califórnia. Em 21 de agosto, o Departamento de Polícia de Los Angeles expediu um mandado de busca para Jackson, no seu condomínio em LA e no rancho Neverland.
It was on a Saturday, got beeped, and they said, LAPD's at the front gate, Bob, and they got a search warrant. So when I got there, they were already inside the ranch. So it took, they were probably there maybe 3 or 4 hours. And I remember LAPD telling me, well, this is going to be a sealed file. No one's going to know about it, until we want them to. Well, the news press knew about it before they even left the ranch.
As câmeras da imprensa filmaram policiais saindo com alguns objetos pessoais de Michael. Uma TV local revelou a história de que um menino de 13 anos acusara Jackson de abuso sexual. Em 24 horas, era a principal manchete no mundo todo. Michael negou veementemente. Diane Dimond relatou o caso para Hard Copy. Dimond alega que uma fonte conseguiu uma cópia do arquivo confidencial da suposta vítima com assistência social.
What struck me most about this original paperwork was the rendition and the detail from this child, what he said happened. There were very, very specific details about what happened in what hotels in what cities all over the world.
Quando Dimond foi ao ar com seu primeiro relato, ela mal pôde acreditar na reação.
Once we put the original story on the air, the phone never stopped ringing. I got calls from Gary, Indiana. I got calls from California. I got calls from Europe. I got calls from all over the world to tell me what people knew about Michael Jackson.
Em 23 de agosto de 93, um porta-voz de Jackson deu uma declaração alegando que Michael era alvo de um plano de extorsão multimilionário do pai do garoto, um inspirado roteirista.
A demand for $20 million was made and presented. It was flatly and consistently refused.
O pai negou as acusações. Uma grande organização de mídia contratou o investigador particular Don Crutchfield para apurar o caso.
I was privy to the police report, the child service report, even the boy's deposition. This kid doesn't change a word.
Nos documentos do tribunal, o garoto diz que Jackson começou a chorar quando ele reclamou dos beijos de boca aberta de Michael. O documento segue descrevendo diversos atos sexuais com riqueza de detalhes. O menino alega que os atos ocorreram durante um período de meses. Jackson negou todas as acusações. Apesar do furor da mídia, Jackson continuou a turnê. Michael fez 39 anos em 29 de agosto de 93. Quando se apresentou em Singapura naquela noite, uma animada multidão cantou parabéns para você. Mas no dia seguinte, Jackson desmaiou nos bastidores. Ele cancelou o show seguinte alegando cansaço físico.
Oh, I don't think the stress of his allegations have anything to do with it. Our family don't believe any of the allegations, and we fully support him.
And our position is we support our brother. We love our brother. We know none of these things are true. He's very tired. He was tired before he started this tour.
Michael's a hard-working guy on stage, and I don't believe it's the first time he's canceled 3 shows in a short distance. It
has a lot to do with the humidity. Is very hot there, and the fact that he was tired and not feeling too well before he left.
Em setembro, os pais do menino de 13 anos entraram com uma ação civil pedindo $30 milhões, acusando Jackson de abuso sexual, negligência e fraude. Mais uma vez, Jackson negou as acusações. Enquanto isso, Michael se recuperou. Apresentou-se para fãs alucinados em Taipei, Moscou, Istambul e Buenos Aires. Mas em 12 de novembro, cancelou sua turnê subitamente, alegando precisar de tratamento para o vício em analgésicos. A amiga Elizabeth Taylor foi até lá para apoiá-lo.
I saw for myself that Michael was in desperate need of specialized medical attention. Because of my own experience with addiction to prescription medicines, I was able to make a number of calls in search of the best and most appropriate treatment for Michael.
And Michael Jackson left with Elizabeth Taylor in a private jet and went to England and checked into a drug rehab. Well, that keeps him out of the country.
O mundo de Michael parecia estar desmoronando. O promotor de eventos Marcel Avern entrou com uma ação de $20 milhões contra o cantor, alegando rompimento de contrato. Michael finalmente voltou para Neverland em 20 de dezembro de 93. 2 dias depois, falou com o mundo pela TV.
It brings tears to my eyes when I see any child who suffers. I am not guilty of these allegations, but if I am guilty of anything, it is of giving all that I have to give to help children all over the world. It is of loving children of all ages and races. It is of gaining sheer joy from seeing children with their innocent and smiling faces. It is of enjoying through them the childhood that I missed myself.
A sexualidade do rei do pop sempre foi alvo de discussão. O fato é que Michael nunca foi de aparecer rodeado de mulheres. Mas aos 35 anos, o cantor resolve surpreender o mundo anunciando o casamento com Lisa Marie Presley, filha de Elvis Presley. A união aconteceu em uma cerimônia super secreta na República Dominicana. Então veja agora o primeiro capítulo dessa vida amorosa do cantor.
1993 foi um ano desastroso para Michael Jackson. O astro pop de 35 anos enfrentou acusações de abuso sexual, fez tratamento para vício em drogas e cancelou uma turnê. Jackson alegava que as acusações de abuso sexual eram falsas. Michael dizia que o pai do menino queria arrancar dinheiro dele. Os promotores não acreditavam na teoria de Jackson. Em 24 de janeiro de 94, o promotor distrital de LA anunciou que não investigaria o caso de extorsão. No dia seguinte, Michael pagou milhões para fazer um acordo da ação contra ele. Jackson continuava alegando sua inocência.
I said to him, are you aware of the fact that people will forevermore think that you were guilty because you paid this kid so much money? And Michael said he just didn't care. He said that, I need to get on with my life.
It's my understanding that this boy got at least $20 million, maybe even more than that.
Mas os promotores ainda investigavam Jackson. Os tribunais em Los Angeles e Santa Bárbara começaram a ouvir indícios de abuso sexual no início de 94.
I know officers from both LAPD and the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department were out actively interrogating people.
Durante o andamento das investigações, Michael Jackson surgiu com algo que ninguém esperava. Em 26 de maio, Michael se casou com a filha de Elvis, Lisa Marie Presley, de 26 anos, em uma cerimônia secreta na República Dominicana.
She started to take a real interest in Michael Jackson about the time that he was going through the accusations of child molestation. I don't know how she knew that he was innocent, but she assumed he was. And that seemed to blossom into some kind of romance.
Com a notícia do casamento em agosto daquele ano, a imprensa começou com as acusações.
And then, lo and behold, he went back to Neverland and she went back to her mansion in Los Angeles, and they never lived with one another thereafter. I think that the marriage to Lisa Marie was definitely designed to show the world that he is a stud.
Em setembro de 94, os promotores da Califórnia também anunciaram uma surpresa. Encerraram as investigações sobre abuso sexual de menor contra Jackson sem apresentar queixa.
The district attorney at Santa Barbara himself said there was 2 other children that had accused Michael Jackson of molestation, but he couldn't do anything about it because one of the boys went out of the country and the other boy went out of his jurisdiction, and they didn't want to talk about it.
There were 2 other children who said that Michael hugged and kissed them. Well, I've got a confession for you, because you know something? I've hugged and kissed every single member of the Jackson family. So I guess I must be one of them.
A ação de $20 milhões do promotor de eventos Marcel Avram também foi resolvida fora dos tribunais. Com as batalhas jurídicas resolvidas, Michael tentou retomar sua vida. O novo álbum History foi lançado em outubro de 94 e imediatamente chegou ao primeiro lugar nas paradas. Mas após apenas 2 semanas, History foi esquecido. O primeiro single não ficou entre as 40 melhores naquele ano. Michael decidiu encarar os fãs mais uma vez. Mas Jackson não conseguiu. Em 6 de dezembro, Michael desmaiou no palco durante um ensaio para um especial da HBO. Jackson foi levado ao hospital apresentando desidratação e inflamação no estômago. A apresentação foi cancelada.
People were concerned. There were bills to be paid. There's a lot of people making money on Michael Jackson. But it wasn't like he had a dread disease or anything. The guy was just overworked.
A esposa de Michael veio para ficar ao seu lado, mas a relação estava condenada. Então, em janeiro de 96, Lisa Marie pediu divórcio, alegando diferenças irreconciliáveis. O casamento durou apenas 20 meses.
I think she was caught up in the excitement of Michael Jackson's world at the beginning. I think that changed when she saw that she was not his principal focus of interest.
A separação não pareceu ter afetado Michael.
Just a month later, there he was in Paris, moving up, jumping up and down, enjoying himself with a bunch of kids wearing hats and looking just like him.
O divórcio de Lisa Marie não surpreendeu ninguém. Mas em novembro de 96, Michael chocou o mundo ao anunciar que ele se tornaria pai. A mãe, Debbie Rowe, de 33 anos, já estava grávida de 6 meses.
They met in the early 1980s. She was an assistant to a Beverly Hills dermatologist, and Michael was a patient.
Debbie Rowe is an absolute charm. She is delightful. She is kind.
Of course, part of the Michael Jackson legend is always going to be, how did she become pregnant? Now, she and Michael, too, always insisted that they did it the old-fashioned way.
10 dias após o anúncio, Jackson e Rose se casaram.
She was living in, I think, a one-bedroom apartment in Van Nuys, next to a liquor store. She suddenly jumped on a plane, went to Sydney, Australia, where Michael was performing, and they're married. And that was it.
Poucos dias depois, Rowe voltou para os Estados Unidos, mas não foi para Neverland.
He buys her a house in Franklin Canyon in Los Angeles for $1.27 million. She moves into the house. He moves into Neverland. So their marriage, again, is very is similar in one regard to the marriage to Lisa Marie, is that they simply didn't live together.
Em fevereiro de 97, Rowe deu à luz a um menino que chamariam de Prince Michael.
Mrs. Jackson's father was named Prince, and so it is a family name.
Jackson carregou seu filho Prince para Neverland. Rowe voltou para casa em Franklin Canyon.
Maybe a very friendly relationship, it may even be a loving relationship, but it's not a relationship in the traditionally accepted meaning of the word.
She calls it doing her friend a favor, but that girl's entire apartment was a shrine to Michael. Her feelings for him went a lot deeper than friends.
Em abril de 98, Rowe fez outro favor ao amigo. Deu à luz a Paris Catherine. Michael mal podia esperar para levar o bebê para casa. Dizem que o comportamento de Jackson era bizarro.
He grabbed the child, cut the umbilicus and ran off with the kid so that the kid would be bonding with him.
Michael adorava bancar o pai.
He's great. He's absolutely great. I mean, I happened to walk in the room and there's Prince sitting in the chair and he was having breakfast and Michael was feeding him. He was absolutely wonderful. And he's so outgoing, Prince is, and such a loving baby. He has all this love to give.
Michael spends a lot of time with his kids. It's a very loving relationship, and I've been there when, in the morning when the kids wake up and they run to, their father, and it's hugging and kissing him, and I love you, Daddy, and, and he says, I love you more.
Mas as coisas não iam tão bem entre Michael e sua esposa. Em outubro de 99, Jackson e Rose se divorciaram. A separação foi amigável. Nem Michael ou Debbie deram nenhuma explicação.
Being married in this family is extraordinarily difficult. And mere mortals simply cannot cope with the problems. Debbie could not cope with it, but that doesn't mean that she didn't love Michael.
Rowe permaneceu com a casa e fez um acordo multimilionário.
Um documentário sobre a vida de Michael Jackson, lançado em 2003, estremeceu a opinião pública. A intimidade do astro foi exposta como nunca. O jornalista britânico Martin Basher mergulhou durante 8 meses no mundo do rei do pop. E voltou dele com registros que transformariam para sempre a reputação de Michael. Esse é de impressionar. Roda aí.
Ao final de 99, o Peter Pan do pop, Michael Jackson, era pai. Mas se apresentar no palco era fácil, criar 2 filhos não era nenhum conto de fadas. Jackson queria dar aos filhos Prince Michael e Paris uma vida normal. Isso era mais fácil de falar do que fazer. Uma noite em junho de 2000, Wendy Spale achou um garotinho louro sozinho no shopping de Los Angeles.
The poor little thing was just sobbing, I can't find my daddy, I want my daddy, I want my daddy. So I took him by the hand and I said, come with me, I'm going to help you find your daddy. And at that very moment, it was the most bizarre thing. Another family, couple, kind of literally swooped in and grabbed the boy from me and took off running.
Wendy correu atrás do casal.
We got to the Sam Goody music store and there was a crowd gathering there. A man opened the door and he's dressed wrapped literally head to toe in a white sheet. And all you can see of him, you can't see his face, all you can see is this white sheet surrounding his entire body, including his face, and he's wearing these big aviator sunglasses.
O homem era Michael Jackson.
says, who found him? And this family literally shoved me out of the way, got in front, positioned themselves in front of me and said, we did. And he grabbed them and said, get in here, and the doors closed. And I didn't know what had happened, but, you know, in my gut, I felt like at least the boy was where he was supposed to be.
Aquele não era o fim dos problemas de Jackson. Em outubro de 2001, Jackson lançou outro álbum intitulado Invincible, mas a gravação da Sony fracassou. Jackson culpou o chefe da Sony, Tommy Mottola, por não promover o álbum.
I think the situation with Michael Jackson and Tommy Mottola was really a particularly desperate attempt on Michael Jackson to justify failing sales. I mean, I think it's very hard for him to understand why his records are not working in the marketplace the way they used to.
De fato, em maio de 2002, o álbum tinha sumido das paradas. 2 meses depois, Michael se uniu ao reverendo Al Sharpton e ao advogado Johnny Cochran, numa manifestação pelo direito dos artistas. Jackson acusou a Sony e Mottola de racismo.
Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
Jackson se uniu a outros manifestantes e fez um protesto diante do escritório da Sony.
They're out on the street holding placards saying, Tommy Mottola is the devil, Tommy Mottola is racist, you know, Sony is a monster. And Tommy Mottola's point was, what are you kidding me? We just gave you $25 million to promote this record.
Os executivos da Sony diziam ter promovido o álbum. Menos de uma semana depois, Jackson foi manchete de novo ao deixar de lançar o single What More Can I Give? A música foi feita para arrecadar dinheiro para um fundo de caridade para o 11 de setembro. Mas os conselheiros de Michael impediram o lançamento da música, após descobrirem que o produtor tinha vínculos com a indústria do pornô gay.
He hooks up with this pornographer so that this guy, Mark Schaffel, could produce his single, What More Can I Give, after 9/11. People find out about this, and Michael's own advisors say to him, look, we can't release this single. The press on this is going to be awful.
Jackson rompeu todas as ligações com Schaffel, mas as coisas ficaram cada vez mais estranhas. Em dezembro, o promotor de eventos Marcel Avron acionou o cantor por outra quebra de contrato. Avron acusou Jackson de não fazer 2 shows na virada do milênio.
Michael has steadfastly maintained that Marcel Avron told him that the last 2 appearances in Australia and Hawaii were not going to go forward.
Em 2002, a única boa notícia para Jackson foi o nascimento de seu terceiro filho, Prince Michael II. Jackson deu ao menino o apelido de Blanket.
This is one of those you can't make it up situations. Michael introduced the little boy, then a real infant, to Siegfried and Roy backstage at a Las Vegas show. And that was the first kind of trickle of news which People magazine actually broke at the time. And that's how the world found out about Prince Michael II, otherwise known as Blanket.
A imprensa atormentou Jackson para revelar a identidade da mãe de Blanket.
It was a surrogate, and I think we have to take Michael at his word when he says that the mother of the child was a surrogate.
A mãe de Blanket não era o único mistério.
Michael claims it was his sperm, but a lot of people dispute that.
Michael, com 44 anos, estava perdendo peso rapidamente. Para o astro pop envelhecendo, a vida estava se tornando muito difícil. Corriam boatos de que a fortuna de Jackson estava acabando.
It's amazing that one person can go through so much money. Think of the money that this man has earned in his life.
He's still very wealthy. The estimate is somewhere between the $200 and $300 million range, but he is nowhere near the billionaire that he says he is. He makes a fraction of what he used to through record sales because he doesn't sell records.
Em outubro de 2002, Jackson ressurge. Ele comparece ao tribunal para testemunhar sobre a ação de quebra de contrato na turnê da virada do milênio, apresentada pelo promotor de eventos Marcel Avron.
He showed up with tape on his nose, and the reason he had tape on his nose, according to one plastic surgeon, is that his nose is coming apart, literally at the tip. There's no cartilage, there's hardly any skin. He has essentially erased his nose.
It doesn't bother me that he's had plastic surgery. I do wonder why it's such a focal point of the media consistently. I do think that perhaps if he would be more forthcoming and just saying there were features on my face I wasn't happy with, so I changed them,
that might help diffuse some of the attention the media's put on it. His consistent denial seems to fuel more speculation about what he has or has not done to his face.
He's made a change, but still, forget the way he looks, because you don't judge a person by what's on the outside. You judge him what's on the inside.
Mas era difícil ignorar a aparência de Michael, principalmente quando fez caretas para o fotógrafo da corte.
Only Michael Jackson can be part of a lawsuit, appear in court, and have everyone forget what the lawsuit was about.
O julgamento virou circo ainda maior quando Michael faltou por estar doente. Ele disse ter sido mordido por uma aranha.
It is Michael Jackson, and he lives to be strange. That's part of his gig. That's part of his act.
He really believes in the old P.T. Barnum, philosophy of it's better to be a freak, a sideshow freak, than a nobody.
I don't pay any attention to it. It's the price of that level of celebrity. It's the price of the fact that he's different. He is. He's different. But who are we to judge?
Ano depois, o tribunal determinou que Jackson pagasse a Abram 5.300.000 de indenização. Michael chamou a atenção de novo quando foi a Berlim receber um prêmio. Em 19 de novembro de 2002, Michael acenou para os fãs que gritavam da sacada do hotel. Michael entrou na suíte e voltou carregando o blanket de 9 meses. Os fãs foram à loucura. Então, Jackson balançou o bebê da sacada do quarto andar.
That created a furor globally. I mean, people couldn't believe that that he did this. And I think had it been any other celebrity, no one would have noticed. But given his history, given his antics, given his entire kind of weirdness, anything he does is going to attract attention, and he knows that. My suspicion is that in some kind of evil genius kind of way, he knew that he was going to get attention for this and enjoyed the fact that he was front page news the next day across the world.
It is the same tradition as what we see in The Lion King, where Mufasa holds up his baby Simba to the entire world and presents him to the tribe. Michael was fulfilling an African tradition, and I'm angry about the insensitivity to the African tradition.
But the media focuses on all the negative things. What they don't tell you is why he was in Germany in the first place, was to accept a very prestigious Bambi Award for his work with children. That part they don't tell you.
No dia seguinte, Jackson tentou consertar o erro que cometera. Ele divulgou uma nota dizendo que o incidente foi um erro tolo. Mas para muitos, era um pouco tarde demais.
It just cemented everyone's idea of him as not only a freak, but a terrible, terrible parent and a dangerous parent.
It wasn't a wise thing to do, but I think he got caught up in the moment, and you judge a person by their intent. His intent was never to hurt his child. I mean, he loved his children very much.
Em fevereiro de 2003, parecia que Jackson teria sua chance de contar seu lado da história. A ABC pagou $5 milhões para levar ao ar um documentário sobre Jackson, feito por Martin Bashir, um jornalista inglês que entrevistou a princesa Diana. Bashir convenceu Jackson que câmeras o seguissem durante 8 meses. Logo, ele se arrependeria de sua decisão. O superastro recluso abriu os portões de Neverland e abriu a caixa de Pandora.
He's got every game and toy and contraption in the world. He's got a kitchen full of chefs. You're fed and given everything in the world. There's libraries of videos and games and toys.
O jornalista inglês Martin Bashir produziu o documentário Morando com Michael Jackson. O programa foi ao ar na ABC, um recorde com 27 milhões de telespectadores.
This documentary was probably the most hurtful thing that has happened to Michael Jackson, even more than the 1993 lawsuit.
No momento crucial do documentário de Bashir, Michael admite que as crianças dormiam em sua cama. O cantor negou que tenha ocorrido qualquer contato sexual.
When he's had kids over, it's usually several kids, brothers and sisters or friends. You eat popcorn and candy and watch movies and play. Michael has also made it very clear that he sleeps on the floor.
Segundo relatórios publicados, autoridades locais iniciaram uma investigação após assistir ao documentário de Bashir. Jackson reagiu rapidamente mostrando os vídeos caseiros de Michael Jackson. O especial foi ao ar em abril no canal Fox. Os vídeos continham cenas feitas durante a entrevista de Bashir, mas pintavam um quadro muito diferente.
I think if you keep an open mind, which a lot of people are starting to do now, especially after the Fox special, I think they're beginning to believe that, Michael is really a big kid.
Mesmo assim, a investigação prosseguiu. O promotor distrital de Santa Bárbara, Tom Sneddon, conseguiu um mandado de busca. Em 18 de novembro de 2003, mais de 60 policiais chegaram a Neverland. Segundo documentos do tribunal, dentre os itens apreendidos há revistas, livros e vídeos para adultos. 2 dias depois, o xerife de Santa Bárbara, Jim Anderson, tomou uma atitude.
An arrest warrant for Mr. Jackson has been issued on multiple counts of child molestation.
Jackson se entregou e foi levado algemado pela porta dos fundos da prisão do condado de Santa Bárbara. Meia hora depois, ele foi libertado após pagar fiança de $3 milhões. Michael fez o V de vitória para a multidão que se aglomerava do lado de fora.
But I'm here to tell you today, and Michael has given me the authority to say on his behalf, these charges are categorically untrue.
I think the outpouring of love for Mr. Jackson is sort of extraordinary, and there are people out there from all over the world.
Em 16 de janeiro de 2004, Michael chegou 20 minutos atrasado para depor no tribunal diante de um irritado juiz Rodney Melville. Jackson negou as 7 acusações de cometer atos obscenos com um jovem menor de 14 anos e 2 de dar a ele substância intoxicante. A criança em questão era o mesmo menino que aparecia com ele no documentário de Martin Bashir.
The current accuser is a boy who was approximately 13 years old when he came forward. He was sick. He was a cancer victim. He was a victim of a broken home and of a poor family.
Jackson saiu do tribunal e levou centenas de fãs ao delírio ao subir no capô de seu carro e mandar beijos. 2 meses depois, o grande júri resolveu indiciá-lo. Contudo, não revelaram a natureza das acusações. Em 30 de abril, Jackson voltou ao tribunal. O indiciamento do grande júri incluía as 9 acusações originais. Mas havia uma nova acusação: conspiração envolvendo sequestro de menor, cárcere privado e extorsão.
The grand jury added this conspiracy charge. And that's an allegation that Michael Jackson, together with other people, actually kidnapped the family, held them against their will, extorted them into making this videotape that would exonerate Michael Jackson.
Jackson se declarou inocente. Então, em junho, a Court TV revelou os termos de um acordo confidencial que Jackson fizera em 93, em uma ação perpetrada contra ele. Naquele caso, um menino de 13 anos dizia que dormiu na cama de Michael em Neverland e foi repetidamente beijado e acariciado por ele. Jackson fechou um acordo de mais de 20 milhões, mas indicou expressamente que o acordo não era uma admissão de culpa.
The case never got to trial. In fact, it never got charged because the prosecutors didn't know if they had enough evidence, one boy's word against Michael Jackson. And eventually, Jackson paid off the family. That case got dropped.
O momento não poderia ser pior para o enrolado astro do pop. Segundo uma porta-voz de Jackson, quem revelou o acordo pretendia influenciar possíveis jurados do caso atual. O julgamento foi marcado para o início de 2005. Enquanto isso, autoridades locais vasculharam Neverland mais uma vez. Apesar de não revelarem exatamente o que procuravam, laudos publicados revelaram que colheram amostra de saliva de Michael. Em janeiro, 3 semanas antes do início do julgamento de Jackson, o site The Smoking Gun mostrou detalhes do caso do promotor. A história se baseava em relatos de vários policiais, testemunhas do grande júri e documentos secretos do tribunal. Os documentos alegavam, dentre outras coisas, que Jackson masturbara seu acusador de 13 anos.
The Smoking Gun article was all of the prosecution's version of the evidence. You know, going back to the allegations in 1993 and then the allegations now that Michael Jackson had this pornography, that he lured the child in, that he was basically keeping the mother at bay, that he flew them all around, and then he quickly got into the good graces of the family and took advantage of the boy.
Em 13 de janeiro de 2005, o programa da ABC Primetime Live narrou detalhes sórdidos. Mais cedo, naquele mesmo dia, o advogado de Jackson conseguiu permissão do tribunal para veicular uma réplica.
In the last few weeks, a large amount of ugly, malicious information has been released into the media about me. Apparently, this information was leaked through transcripts in a grand jury proceeding, where neither my lawyers nor I ever appeared. The information is disgusting and false. Years ago, I allowed a family to visit and spend some time at Neverland. Neverland is my home. I allowed this family into my home because they told me their son was ill with cancer and needed my help. Through the years, I have helped thousands of children who are ill or in distress. These events have caused a nightmare for my family, my children, and me. I never intend to place myself in so vulnerable a position ever again. I love my community, and I have great faith in our justice system. Please keep an open mind and let me have my day in court. I deserve a fair trial like every other American citizen. I will be acquitted and vindicated when the truth is told. Thank you.
The timing of that was perfect by the defense to release it on video right before the jurors were called in for jury selection, because that's when it would have the maximum impact.
A defesa também obteve outras vitórias. O juiz Rodney Melville decidiu que provas acatadas durante o caso de 93 contra Jackson eram inadmissíveis. O juiz também determinou que o garoto que acusou Jackson e o irmão caçula dele, que dizia ter visto o abuso, deveriam testemunhar no tribunal. Enquanto isso, começava a segunda semana de seleção de jurados em Santa Maria, a 120 quilômetros ao norte de Santa Bárbara. A lista inicial incluía mais de 750 possíveis jurados. Então, em 10 de fevereiro de 2005, o ator de 33 anos Corey Feldman foi citado pela promotoria. Em uma entrevista na TV, Feldman disse que Jackson lhe mostrou um livro quando Corey tinha 13 anos. O livro mostrava doenças venéreas em genitálias femininas e masculinas. Feldman acrescentou que Jackson nunca o havia tocado inadequadamente. Em 23 de fevereiro, o júri com 12 membros tinha sido escolhido. 4 homens e 8 mulheres com idades que variavam de 20 a 79 anos. Nenhum dos jurados era afro-americano. O julgamento começou em 1º de março de 2005. Não eram permitidas câmeras dentro do tribunal, mas havia muitas do lado de fora. Em suas declarações iniciais, o promotor Thomas Madden alegou que Jackson e seus ajudantes entraram em pânico depois do documentário de Martin Bashir. Segundo ele, o pessoal de Jackson pediu ao garoto que gravasse uma réplica, ameaçando fisicamente a família se esta se recusasse. O advogado de defesa rebateu com uma versão bem diferente dos fatos. Descreveu a família do menino como um grupo ganancioso que já acusara outros de abuso sexual no passado e que Jackson seria seu próximo alvo. A defesa fez questão que seu cliente depusesse para rebater as acusações. Em 30 de março, a família do garoto começou a depor com detalhes explícitos. A irmã do menino disse ter visto Jackson e os 2 irmãos pré-adolescentes bebendo vinho em Neverland. Em 10 de março de 2005, Jackson chegou às manchetes. O cantor chegou ao tribunal com 1h30 de atraso, vestindo pijamas. Jackson disse que machucou as costas e foi ao hospital. Então, o acusador subiu para depor. O ex-paciente de câncer, agora com 15 anos, disse que Jackson lhe deu vinho. Disse que o cantor chamava de suco de Jesus. O garoto testemunhou que Jackson abusou dele pelo menos 2 vezes. Quando terminou, o juiz Rodney Melville determinou que os promotores poderiam incluir alegações de outros casos de abuso contra Jackson.
The prosecutor certainly alleges that Michael Jackson fits the profile of a serial child molester.
Um ex-chefe disse ter flagrado o ídolo pop tateando o ator mirim Macaulay Culkin em 91. Culkin já havia negado previamente que Jackson abusara dele.
He's the kindest, most sincere, genuine person I know. I'm just happy to have him in my life because he's just so sweet and he's always there for me and I'm always there for him.
A mãe do garoto testemunhou em abril de 2005. A mulher dizia que ela e os filhos ficaram aprisionados em Neverland para gravar um filme exaltando Jackson. A mãe diz que os assessores de Jackson davam um roteiro com os comentários. No dia 27 de abril, a ex-mulher de Jackson, Debbie Rowe, contou aos jurados que participou do mesmo vídeo. Rowe disse que seus comentários não foram ditados. Ela disse que Jackson prometeu deixá-la visitar os filhos se ela cooperasse. No dia 4 de maio, o promotor encerrou a acusação. E veio a vez da defesa. Macaulay Culkin testemunhou no dia 11 de maio e negou mais uma vez que Jackson abusara dele. Poucos dias depois, o ex-advogado de Michael, Mark Geragos, foi chamado para testemunhar. Ele disse que conheceu a família do menino em 2003 e logo suspeitou que planejavam extorquir Michael.
And part of the defense theory will be, you know, Michael Jackson is just a big target. He's a celebrity. He has a lot of money.
O apresentador Jay Leno depôs em 24 de maio. Leno testemunhou que o acusador deixou mensagens telefônicas, mas nunca pediu dinheiro. Depois de Leno, veio o comediante Chris Tucker e disse que o menino havia pedido dinheiro a ele. Em 27 de maio, os promotores apresentaram uma dramática réplica. Mostraram para o júri uma gravação do garoto falando com a polícia em 2003. Com uma voz meiga e hesitante, o garoto dizia que Jackson o masturbara 5 vezes. Ele pede aos policiais que não contem nada para sua mãe. Então, os dois lados encerraram seus casos. O julgamento durou 4 meses. Michael Jackson nunca subiu para depor. Em 3 de junho, os 4 homens e 8 mulheres do júri começaram a deliberar sobre o destino do astro do pop. No dia 13 de junho de 2005, no 7º dia de deliberações, o júri chegou a um veredito.
We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child.
Havia mais 9 acusações no indiciamento e, numa incrível rejeição à tese da promotoria, Jackson foi inocentado de todas elas. As acusações incluíam conspiração, abuso e oferecer bebida alcoólica a um menor. O promotor do condado de Santa Bárbara, Tom Snedden, disse que respeitava a decisão dos jurados.
I've never quarreled with the jury's verdict, and I'm not going to start today.
In looking at all of the evidence and not just one specific item, I mean, that's the conclusion we arrived at.
Michael Jackson voltou para o seu rancho Neverland como um homem livre. Pouco depois do julgamento, mudou-se para a ilha de Bahrein, no Golfo Pérsico.
25 de junho de 2009 vai ficar eternizado na história do pop mundial. Foi esse o dia em que o coração de Michael Jackson parou e milhões de fãs do mundo inteiro choraram, lamentaram a morte do cantor. Ele foi vítima de uma parada cardíaca dentro de sua casa em Los Angeles. Realmente, o mundo parou e agora eu gostaria que vocês assistissem para ver se podemos entender alguns detalhes do que aconteceu. Roda aí.
Em março de 2009, Michael anunciou uma série de 50 shows no O2 Arena de Londres, marcados para começar em 16 de julho. Para se preparar para a turnê, Michael fez um ensaio no Staples Center de LA numa quarta-feira, 24 de junho. No dia seguinte, os paramédicos foram chamados à casa de Jackson após ele parar de respirar e sofrer uma parada cardíaca.
We have a gentleman here that needs help and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing and we're trying to pump him, but he's not.
He's unconscious, he's not breathing?
He's not conscious, sir.
Okay. We're already on our way.
He's pumping his chest, but he's not responding to anything, sir. Please.
O cantor de 50 anos foi levado para o centro médico da UCLA, onde teve sua morte constatada pouco depois de dar entrada.
At approximately 1:14 p.m., a team of doctors, including emergency physicians and cardiologists, attempted to resuscitate him for a period of more than 1 hour, and they were unsuccessful. And may Allah be with you, Michael, always. Love you.
Um laudo preliminar da autópsia não encontrou indícios de fratura ou erro médico, mas demonstrou a presença de drogas prescritas em seu corpo. A morte de Michael Jackson encerrou a possibilidade de recuperar seu lugar no topo do universo cultural pop. Mas ele deixou para trás 40 anos de música. São músicas e apresentações que jamais serão esquecidas.
Depois de um funeral hollywoodiano, os mistérios em torno da morte de Michael Jackson só aumentaram. O corpo do cantor foi mantido congelado no cemitério Forest Lawn, Glendale, onde especialistas do Instituto Médico Legal de Los Angeles investigam a causa da morte. Exames toxicológicos indicaram que o astro tinha doses letais de analgésico no organismo quando morreu. Essas substâncias teriam causado a morte de Michael. Vamos assistir.
O rei do pop, Michael Jackson, morreu há mais de um mês, mas as controvérsias ainda não acabaram. Essa semana, a causa da morte foi divulgada. A autópsia feita no corpo do cantor revelou uma dose letal do anestésico Propofol. O médico do cantor, Conrad Murray, admitiu ter administrado 50 mg do anestésico a Michael por pelo menos 6 semanas para tentar curar seu problema de insônia. Isso confirma as teorias de amigos, familiares e até mesmo fãs do cantor, que acreditam que a mistura de doses altas de medicamentos, juntamente com o Propofol, mataram o rei do pop. Essa fã da República Tcheca diz que o corpo do cantor já estava cansado de tomar tantos medicamentos. Já esse fã da Austrália diz que o boato de Michael Jackson ainda estar vivo é verdade e brinca que ele deve estar se divertindo em algum lugar com Elvis. Nas últimas horas de vida, o cantor insistiu que recebesse uma dose mais forte de anestésicos. Conforme o próprio médico, ele resistiu seu pedido por 6 horas e e optou por uma combinação de sedativos. Como não conseguia dormir, Michael então implorou por seu leite, apelido dado ao anestésico Propofol. Essa dose, juntamente com um coquetel de sedativos, foi suficiente para matar o cantor. Essa decisão fatal feita pelo médico é o que está sendo discutida agora. Foi ou não foi homicídio culposo? Ou seja, o médico não tinha intenção de matá-lo. A fã, que veio especialmente de Chicago, diz que o médico deve ser preso. Quando Michael pediu mais medicamentos, ele deveria ter dito: "Não, Michael, você já tomou o suficiente." O site de notícias da rede americana Fox confirma que Dr. Conrad Murray será acusado de homicídio culposo em até 2 semanas. Sua prisão pode chegar a acontecer até a próxima quarta-feira, dia 2 de setembro. O dermatologista Arnold Klein, que muitos suspeitaram ser o pai de 2 dos 3 filhos de Michael, também deve ser indiciado. O cérebro do cantor foi devolvido à família no dia 8 de agosto, após ter passado por análises toxicológicas. O porta-voz do Departamento de Polícia de Los Angeles declarou que o cérebro já está unido ao resto do corpo, o que agora permite com que a família enterre o cantor. A questão agora é o local e a data. A família tinha planejado no dia 29 de agosto, quando então o cantor completaria 51 anos. Mas o representante da família, Ken Sunshine, confirma que a data foi mudada para o dia 3 de setembro por motivos ainda não esclarecidos. Vai ser uma cerimônia privada em um túmulo ainda não determinado pela família, dentro do cemitério Forest Lawn Memorial, em Glendale. O filme do cantor Michael Jackson, This Is It, que contém imagens de ensaios para o que seria seu último tour, estreia no dia 28 de outubro, 2 dias antes do previsto. As últimas notícias aqui de Los Angeles é o aparecimento de um suposto filho do rei do pop, Prince Michael Malachi Jackson, de apenas 24 anos. Ele entrou na justiça com um pedido de testes de DNA para provar que o rei do pop é realmente seu pai biológico. A certidão de nascimento lista Michael Joseph Jackson, o nome original do cantor, como pai de Prince Michael Malachi. E não é coincidência que 2 dos 3 filhos do rei do pop também se chamam Prince Michael. Clara Benjamin, de Los Angeles, para o Super Pop.
Do you remember the time, oh wow, when we fell in love? Do you remember the time?
Apesar de todas as controvérsias em torno da figura de Michael Jackson, uma opinião sobre o astro é unânime. Ele foi, é e continuará sendo sinônimo de talento e genialidade. Hoje você viu a história mais importante do mundo pop. Acompanhou passo a passo a trajetória que marcou gerações e transformou para sempre a cultura mundial. Fica aqui a minha homenagem ao eterno rei do pop. Boa noite.